Hello everyone, today we are going to paint Shadowheart. We will start from the circlet on her head, which is going to be painted with iron hand steel. This will simplify the hair painting process as it will lead to less repainting if we are careful. The center of the front needs to be dark and purple like the symbol of Shar. In order to achieve such color, we will mix 1:1 German Grey and Nagaroth Night. We will now proceed to the hair, and can you guess what color we're going to make them? That's right, black as the night using Black Templar, because Sharan Shadowheart is the best Shadowheart. If you don't think so, try to change my mind in the comments. Keep in mind that in this step we are also going to paint her ponytail. The metallic parts on her ponytail will be painted with Rune Fang steel. If you want to paint them just like the circlet with iron hand steel, feel free to do so. I just wanted to have it this way. If you overpaint the hair with the metallic, let it dry and repaint with Black Templar. For the next step, we will need a small dry brush loaded with Dark Reaper. Heavily dry brush the top part of the hair. Afterwards, load the same brush with Thunderhawk Blue and pass over the same area but lightly. In order to blend our colors on the hair, we will use Nuln Oil. Cover the circlet's chains as well as the chains on the ponytail. Time to highlight. The circlet's chains will get a layer of iron hand steel on the raised areas and the ponytail of Runefang steel. We will paint the face, neck and ears with 2 layers of Bugman's Glow. If you paint on the hair by mistake, do not worry, it's easily fixable. Just put the video back to the beginning and start the process again. Once the base of our skin has dried fully, we will cover with 2 thin layers of Cadian flesh tone. Again, be careful not to paint over the hair. Using a small dry brush, which we have loaded with German Grey, we are going to put eyeshadow on Shadowheart. Light brush around the eye area. With Abaddon Black, we will paint the eyebrows and eyelashes. For the eyelashes, if you paint on the inside of them, there is no problem. If you make a mistake on the outside, clean up and reapply eyeshadow if necessary. For the eyebrows, clean up using Cadian flesh tone. The scleras of both eyes will be done with Corax White. The irises should be something between yellow and green. I chose Elysian green, however if you have in mind another paint, feel free to use that. The pupils will be done with Abaddon Black. For the lips, we will need a 1:1 mix of Cadian flesh tone and Bugman's Glow. Using the same mix, we are going to give Shadowheart a nice slash on the face in order to paint her scar. Making another mix consisting of 1:1 Cadian flesh tone and Kislev flesh, we will start highlighting the face. Main focus are the cheekbones and the nose bridge. Finally, using pure Kislev flesh, we are going to add details on top of the highlights on Shadowheart's face. We'll start off with iron hand steel on the breastplate as well as the forearms and hands armor. Give them a couple of nice thin layers for maximum coverage, as it will assist us later. Paint all raised armor pieces on the breastplate and forearms with Retributor armor. We really want to differentiate them from the rest of the armor. Only for the main body and hands, paint the cloth with Debonair Hide. Avoid painting on the armor, and if you do, please fix it as soon as possible. Next up, we will take a bit of Rhinox hide and paint the leather straps that holds the armor together. You may also paint the straps on the arm that holds the shield at this step. We can add a layer of Dumble Brown to highlight the straps, but this is a completely optional step. Before we move forward with shading, we'll have to jump back to Iron Hand Steel for a bit. With it, we'll paint the raised areas of the sigil in the center of the breastplate. Be extremely careful not to paint the recesses. Once all metallic has dried, we will shade our pieces with Nuln Oil. Do not let the wash pull excessively on the recesses or other corners. After some time has passed and our wash is fully dry, we will go back to Iron Hand Steel and start highlighting. Pick all raised areas as well as all the flat areas on the breastplate and forearms. Avoid the recesses at all costs. Once we're done with the highlights, we will take Stormhost Silver and go through the most raised areas of our highlights as well as the centers of the flat areas. We will also pick the center of the flat areas. Same with Retributor armor, we will pass over the most raised areas which were previously painted with this color and add highlights. Auric Armor Gold is the color we will use to add extra details to our golden highlights. Go through the highest of the most recently painted highlights and add details to them. With the metallics complete, we will focus on the cloth on the breastplate, making a 1-to-1 mix of Demonet Hide and Genestealer Purple. We shall add highlights. We will follow the previous step with a second highlight, this time of pure Genestealer Purple. Final step for the breastplate includes details made with pure Cacophony Purple. This step is optional as it is a niche color and you may not have it. We'll move to the pauldrons. Unfortunately I lost the clip where I based them, so please paint them entirely with Iron Hand Steel. Afterwards, give them a nice wash with Nuln Oil so that we can highlight them later on. Once the oil dries, we'll take a bit of Retributor armor and paint the pauldron areas that you see. I cannot name them since I don't know how they're called. If you know how that area is called, write me down in the comments. Subsequently, Auric Armor Gold will be used in order to give the golden parts a highlight. Once this is done, we'll go straight to Stormhost Silver and make highlights on the raised areas painted with Iron Hand Steel. Making a mix of German Grey and Naggaroth Night 1-to-1, we will fill the circular areas on the pauldrons. This way we can seal the Pack of Servitude with Shar, who is the best deity in D&D. And if you don't think so, fight me in the comments. Alright, proceeding with the shoulders, which will be separate in upper part and lower part. The upper part first will be painted entirely with German Grey. While the upper part is drying, we will paint the armor on the lower part with Iron Hand Steel. Then we will take Retributor armor and paint the armor panel lines on the upper shoulder carefully. On the lower part where the metal shirt is visible, we will use Runefang Steel and paint all chain rings. Once everything is fully dried, we will wash the pieces with Nuln Oil. Cover the shoulder entirely. After we let the wash dry for about 15 minutes, we will go back to Retributor armor and make highlights on all golden parts. Then we will reuse Auric Armor Gold and add details like we did on the previous pieces. Same would be for Iron Hand Steel on the lower part of the shoulder, as well as for Runefang Steel. The next part is about Shadowheart's weapon of choice and shield. We'll start from the mace, for which we will create a 1-to-1 German Grey and Abaddon Black mix. With it, we will paint the mace fully. Using pure German Grey, we will make highlights on the mace as well as paint the handle on the shield, which is part of the left hand. For the shield, we'll take dried bark and paint the wooden part from the outside and the inside, as both sides are visible to the observer. Once we're done and sure that the brown has dried, we will cover it with Agrax Earth Shade. As we wait for the Agrax to dry, we can paint the rims of the shield. In order to give it a different hue from the rest of the armor, we will use Lead Belcher. Do be careful not to paint over the wood while on this step. Afterwards, as we did with all of our metallics in the project, we will give it a nice shading with Nuln Oil. Finally, we make highlights of a Lead Belcher on the shield's metallic rim. We will start from the lower body/waist. Cover the entirety with Black Templar. This is a completely optional step, as the piece is not going to be visible since the skirt covers it fully. Next part, the legs. We will take a bit of Mournfang Brown and paint the underarmor. Reusing Black Templar, we will paint the space between the armor and the feet. The soles can also be painted with Black Templar. Continuing on, we will take Iron Hand Steel and paint all metal plates on the leg and feet. Give it a good coverage with a couple of layers. In case you paint over the underarmor, fix it as soon as possible. Once the metallic has fully dried, we will wash the entire piece with Nuln Oil. Do not let the oil pull too much on the recesses, as it can go over some model details. Feel free to shade the underarmor as well if you wish. After the shade has fully dried, we will start highlighting. Make a 1-to-1 mix of Mournfang Brown and Scragged Brown. Starting from between the armor panels on the legs, we will highlight the up-facing pieces of the underarmor. Anything that is on the inside of the thigh or under it does not need highlights, as it will most probably be covered by the skirt. Subsequently, we will add details of pure Scragged Brown to the existing highlights. This will complete the underarmor highlights, and now we can focus on the armor panels. Starting from bottom up, we will use Iron Hand Steel and highlight close to the edges and most flat areas that the light will hit. As there are a lot of places to highlight on the feet, knees and thighs, do take your time. Going over the same highlight we just did, we will add details of Stormhost Silver. Target the edges, highest areas and the middle of the flat areas. That would be all for the legs. You may paint the straps at thigh level with Rhinox hide if you want, but they are not going to be visible due to the skirt. Let's go now to the skirt. Starting with Demonette hide, we will paint all cloth and straps on the skirt. Avoiding the center part is recommended but not mandatory. We will paint that part with another color later on the tutorial. While our purple is drying, we will paint the metal part of the skirt. For that, we will use a couple of Iron Hand Steel layers. On top of that, paint the hemisphere looking part in the middle of the main strap. Using Mechanicus Standard Grey, we are now going to paint the central cloth that exists above our purple cloth. As there are some very small places, mistakes can happen to all of us. If such case arises, we need to clean up as soon as possible. Staying with Mechanicus Standard Grey, we will paint the sides of the leather straps as well. Again, the areas are small and mistakes can happen. Clean up as soon as possible if anything happens. Here is the hardest and most time-consuming part of the model. With the Retributor armor, we have to paint most of the details on the skirt. Apart from the color, we will need a small brush and a lot of patience. Start by painting the edges on the internal triangle on the center cloth, then using the belly of the brush, paint the small details on the side around the middle. Follow that with the outer edges of the center cloth, and then proceed with the edges of the hemisphere. We also have to paint the edges on the metallic straps on the metal part of the skirt with Retributor armor. If you want, you can also paint their centers or their highest edges. Next up are the knobs on the end of the straps, followed by the moons on the belt. Keep in mind that you may have to go through the last two steps again, as 2 layers give the optimal coverage. With the most time consuming and hard part behind us, we will make a 1-to-1 mix of Abaddon Black and German Grey, and paint the eclipsed part of the moons on the belt. Since we're in a good place, it is time to wash our metallic with Nuln Oil. Go over both silver and gold while shading. As we wait for the shade to dry, we can start highlighting. Making a 1-to-1 mix of Grey Seer and Mechanica Standard Grey, we will go over the highest areas of the central cloth on the skirt. Following that, we will go and highlight the straps. Using a mix of Demonet Hide and Gene Stealer Purple, roughly 1-to-1. We will go over the most raised areas of the skirt, as well as some of the flat areas that the light will hit. Afterwards, with pure Gene Stealer Purple, we will go through the highlight we just did and add details on top of them. By this time, the shade must have dried. If not, wait for it to fully dry. Using Iron Hand Steel once more, we will go over the most flat areas and the edges of the metallic part of the skin and highlight them. Finally, with Stormhost Silver, we will add details of bright silver over the metallic highlights. The result should be similar to this. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and consider smashing the subscribe one. All colors used in this video are on your screen now. I was MiniatureUrsus, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Unless you want us to meet earlier, in which case check this video out.